Saturday, January 17th, 2026. And like always, we'll give it a few minutes for people to join and then we'll get started. All right, we have one person joined. Hey, Mike. Hope you're having a great Saturday. We'll give it another few minutes. People are starting to join now. Beautiful day today here in Tennessee. A little cool. I was going to go to the range, to the outdoor range, but a little cold for that, so I wound up having to go to the indoor range, but that's okay. And I got back just in time to do the live stream. All right, I have some gun news to report, which I normally do first. And the first thing is, finally, the DOJ did something for us. And good morning to you, Ted. Thanks for joining. Yesterday, the DOJ ruled that the century-old post office rule that bans shipping of firearms is unconstitutional and cannot be enforced. And that is awesome because, if you ever have to ship a firearm back to the manufacturer, normally you had to go to FedEx or UPS. So it's good to know now that they ruled against that. However, the primers, powder, and ammunition still cannot be shipped by the post office, but I'm betting that that's because that's covered under hazmat. And Sarita, welcome to you. Glad you could join us on a beautiful Saturday morning. So that was a big win for the Second Amendment users. Another thing I wanted to report is that jackass governor of New York, she is proposing and demanding that 3D printer manufacturers have software installed on the 3D printers to block printing 3D ghost guns. That is the most retarded thing I have ever heard. She also wants to require sheriffs and police officers to report recovered 3D printed guns. This woman is out of her mind. First of all, 99% of the 3D printers are made in China. They're not going to adhere to that crap. Second of all, how many people do you think actually get killed by someone shooting a ghost gun at them? I mean, realistically, you're really going to shoot a pistol that's made out of plastic? This is just ridiculously stupid. Um, she has a lot of other stupid ideas, but even if you have a stupid idea, it needs to be enforceable. There's no way you're going to enforce a Chinese company to install software that blocks printing 3D guns. Now, second of all, it prints software based off of a model. It doesn't know what it is. And she is just a jackass. But this is the problem when you have lawmakers that are not gun people. You have people making up stupid things, but you would think that their advisors would be a little smarter than that. I mean, for her to think that people are getting killed every day with plastic guns is just really moronic. And on top of that, this is 3D printers. Wait till she finds out about CNC machines that can do the same thing out of metal or aluminum. And she's worried about plastic. She doesn't even know about CNC machines yet. Yeah, I agree with you, Sarita. That's just like the dumbass mayor in New York City. Um, you really got to wonder how people voted for them. You have all of these morons interfering with ICE. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem with people from other countries coming here, but do it the right way, like my father did. Um, my father came here and he went through the process. And granted, it's not easy and it takes time, but do it the right way. And these morons that are blocking ICE from arresting people, and, not for nothing, you're going to run down an ICE agent, you deserve to get shot. Um, and I agree with you there, Jimmy. When I was a kid, I kind of was, I guess, a loose cannon. And when I started driving, the first thing my father told me, when you get pulled over by a police officer, stop the car, put your hands on the steering wheel, say yes, sir, or no, ma'am, and don't move your hands until they ask you for your license and registration. So to block them with your car or attempt to run them over, I mean, when a law enforcement officer tells you to stop, stop the damn car. I mean, a car is just as deadly as a gun. I mean, whatever. Anyway, I'm happy to report that finally, last Saturday, my Henry Big Boy came in, and I finally got to take it to the range today. It's a beautiful day here today in Tennessee, but a little cold for the outdoor range. So I took it to the indoor range and shot it at 25 yards. Let me tell you, man, that thing is beautiful. I absolutely love it. I mean, I was hitting dead center at 25 yards with it. Um, it's an absolutely gorgeous gun. That lever is like silk. I mean, you can rack that lever with one finger. Um, and I was on the fence for quite a while between the Henry Big Boy and the Marlin, and I chose the Henry, and I'm glad I did. It was worth the wait, and it's worth every penny. And that Henry Big Boy is an American classic. It's been around forever, um, and that is definitely one of my favorite guns. And fortunately, it's 357 Magnum, which I have a boatload of ammo for that. So that's all I have of gun news today. There any other topics you guys want to discuss? Just type them in and we'll do that. This stream is for you guys. You guys requested it, and that's why we do it. And you wanted more of it, and that's why we do it twice a week. No, Ted, it does not. It's got a front bead sight, and it's got a adjustable rear buckhorn sight, which a bit of a learning curve to that. I mean, honestly, I didn't shoot it as well as I would have liked to, and I'm not really a fan of the buckhorn sights, but maybe I just need to get used to it. Well, you know what? Some of some of the Democrats are wising up, and they realize that um, all the liberals are making up bullshit, and the smart ones that didn't drink the Kool Aid are finally getting that. And I agree with you, Stuart. I mean, you know, I guess I'm old and I'm old school. When I was a kid, we were told that law enforcement is your friend. And if you were in trouble or whatever, you could stop a cop and he'd help you. Um, when I was a kid, I had a cop that lived up the street from me, and he was my football coach. And if he caught me walking around the streets early in the morning or very late at night, he'd pick me up, put me in the cop car, drive me home, and tell me, you know, if I go around the block and I see you walking the street again, next time I'm going to bring you home and ring the doorbell and tell your parents. And we had a lot of respect for them. And unfortunately, you know, every time there's an incident where a bad cop does something, it kind of ruins it for all of them. And that's just not fair. I mean, when you take into consideration how many law enforcement officers there are and how many bad reports you get, and like I said, you're going to get a few bad apples. It is such a minute number. Um, for the most part, 99 and 44 one hundredths of the police department are honest people and they're good people. Um, and this nonsense where, people are raised to hate law enforcement. Why? Because they do their jobs? They make it inconvenient for you to be a criminal? Well, that's too damn bad because that is their job. I agree with you, Mike. Just because something is a law does not make it right. There are a lot of laws that are not fair, but to attack and hinder law enforcement from doing their job is just not right. I mean, their job is to enforce the law. And whether it's a fair law or not, it's still their job to enforce it. Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. I mean, that's another thing people don't realize is that every time a law enforcement officer pulls someone over, there's a potential for things to go bad, right? Um, they could be pulling over a car that's got a boatload of heroin in it, and they're pulling over the car because they made an improper turn or the blinker light was out. They don't know that they're transporting drugs, and then they wind up getting shot. So you have to understand the law enforcement's attitude about, you know, being a little aggressive. Um, we just live in very dangerous times. It's also a reason why the Second Amendment is so important. Where we live in Tennessee, it's very rural here, and we don't have a local police department. We have to rely on the county sheriff, and sometimes those extra minutes mean a lot. Unfortunately, in Tennessee, we have very liberal gun laws. Um, Matter of fact, our castle doctrine and our stand your ground law in the state of Tennessee, if someone, to use deadly force, you have to believe the threat is imminent and your life is in danger. The state of Tennessee, the law assumes that if someone breaks into your home, armed or unarmed, their intent is to do bodily harm and you do fear for your life. So, yeah, you can put a cap in them. And that's, you know, very important because if you have to wait for law enforcement to get there, it can be too late. Another thing people fail to realize is that law enforcement officer has no legal obligation to protect an individual. They do not. You can check that. They have no legal obligation to protect the individual. Law enforcement officers are obligated to protect the public at large, but not individual people. And that's why you need to be able to protect yourself. And thank you, Sarita. I appreciate that. I mean, I do try to state true facts. I don't make up stuff. Somebody asks me an answer, you people have heard me. I'll flat out say I don't know the answer, and I will get you the answer, but I won't just make up stuff. Um, See, we have some new people on the stream today, which is good. That means YouTube is pushing us out to more people. Um, if you haven't um, attended our live stream before, the viewers requested it, and we do the live stream every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. Also, if you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button. Greatly appreciate that. And I want to thank everyone who's subscribed to our channel. We just went from 7,000 to 7,500 subscribers in a week. And that is great. My goal was to have 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year last year, and I did not reach those numbers. But yeah, I agree with you, Sarita. It's not just that. YouTube just does not like gun channels, period. Um, I have a strike on my YouTube channel that expires January 23rd. Now, if you guys have watched my channel, I review a lot of firearms. Well, I did a review on a threaded barrel, and I was so careful not to show installing the barrel. And YouTube determined that I was promoting an illegal device, and they gave me a strike on my channel. And for a week, I couldn't post. I couldn't even access my channel. If you get 2 strikes, they do it for 2 weeks. And after 3 strikes, they take down your channel. So I'm very, very careful now about the videos I'm posting. Hopefully I'll survive until the end of the next week and my strike will go away. But that's just, they've also removed videos that they approved a year ago. And they're taking down some of my videos from a year ago, claiming that I'm violating community guidelines. They just don't like the Second Amendment and they don't like firearms. And bless you too, Sarita. Well, that's the other thing. So if you're demonstrating a firearm in a safe manner, they can give you a strike or remove your video, but yet people are posting AI videos that are fake, that post fake news, and YouTube doesn't care about that. I don't see anything wrong with a video that's firearms related as long as it's done in a safe manner. Um, One thing the great state of Tennessee did, effective January 1st, 2026, the state of Tennessee made it mandatory that every school in the state from kindergarten through 12th grade has to take a mandatory firearm safety class. So, yeah, you know what? That's a great point there, William. The funny thing about it is that, like on Facebook, they've taken down firearm related posts that I have. We do have a pro gun Facebook page, so if you guys are interested in that, it is called Pro Gun on Facebook. They do remove our videos and content and spank me and put me in Facebook jail once in a while. But, you know, if you're going to be fair, you got to do it for everybody. You can't just ban shit that's against the Republicans, but allow crazy crap from the liberals, right? And that's basically what it comes down to. Not only are we losing our Second Amendment rights, we're losing our First Amendment rights. I mean, we really don't have free speech because there are consequences, right? You can post something on Facebook and HR from your company sees it and you can get fired for it. But politically, all the media is liberal owned. And if you post something that goes against what they believe, you're either racist or you're a communist, and they try to silence you. But yet they get to make up lies, post all of these nonsense posts that we can't delete, and they get to speak their mind. But the minute we do it, we're the problem. I'm just saying, if you're gonna ban things and if you want to restrict things, personally, I think that all political discussions should be banned. Period, because all it does is create chaos. People on both sides jump on the bandwagon. And hello to you, Paul. Thank you for joining. So I think that social media should just ban all political posts. They're not productive at all. They only promote hate and hostility. But you can't pick and choose. You can't allow the liberals to say whatever they want, and that's okay, even if it's false, which, by the way, 99% of the time it is false because they pick and choose pieces of the snippets. They don't give you all the information. But the minute the Republicans do something that the Democrats don't like, they put you in Facebook jail, they ban your posts, they label you as a communist or a racist. You can't do it that way. Again, I digress. That's a sore subject with me. I don't have many friends left that are liberals, and I really don't give a shit. I speak my mind just like I do here. And I think that's why I have the followers I have, is because I do speak my mind. I'm not going to say what people want to hear if it's not true. But anyway, we did this stream for you guys. So if there's any firearm related topics, that you want to discuss, just type it in there and we'll do it. Um, I apologize if I missed a shout out to anybody or didn't answer your comments. Um, they do scroll by very quickly and I can't catch them all. And as always, I want to give a special thanks to our moderators. Um, they volunteered to help me do that, and I greatly appreciate it. This channel wouldn't be what it is without them. They keep a lot of the liberals that live in their parents' basements off the channel, and they help maintain order. So, again, thank you so much, guys. I couldn't do it without your help. Well, you see, this is the problem, Paul. We have a constitution, right? And I'll get right to you there, Mike. And the Constitution is the Bill of Rights. It's not the Bill of Needs. It's got nothing to do with whether we need a firearm or not. And this is the problem the government has. It doesn't matter. The Second Amendment wasn't about hunting. It wasn't about muskets. Way back then, they created the Second Amendment because they knew we would have a tyrannical government and we needed to be able to defend ourselves. The problem is, you would think, being that the Second Amendment is absolute, right? It's not only for red states, it's for everyone in the whole country. So what I have a hard time wrapping my head around is, if you have the Bill of Rights and we have the Second Amendment, then why the hell does every state have the right to make up their own nonsense gun laws? So, and God bless you too, Randall. Mike, reloading's a wonderful thing. I had a lot of fun shooting my new Henry today because I reloaded about 5,000 rounds at 357. So it's like I get to shoot for free. And again, as far as the suppressor goes, honestly, they keep touting that as a win for us. It's not a win at all. All they did was eliminate the $200 tax stamp. You still have to fill out an ATF Form 4. It's still on NFA's list. So it's not a win. Sarita, sorry. I to be honest with you, I have never handled a H&K P7, so I can't speak about it. Yeah, Randall, I shot the Henry today. Sometime this weekend, I will be doing my review and posting a video of shooting it. Exactly, Sarita. The founding fathers knew that. When we had the Biden administration, that was a tyrannical government. Hey, Ammo Alchemist, welcome, brother. Good to see you again, as always. But I don't understand the issue where you have the Bill of Rights and you have the First Amendment, okay? They don't every week change the First Amendment. How do they get to pick and choose to chip away at the Second Amendment when the Second Amendment is for everyone in the country, not just Republican or Democratic states. It's for every American. And how does every state get to have their own gun laws, but every state doesn't have their own laws of the right to free speech? And why is this just not ruled by the federal courts and put an end to this nonsense once and for all? And, you know, this DOJ Pam Bondi, um, I'm I'm not sold on her. In my opinion, she is not a friend of the Second Amendment. I don't know why Trump gave her that job. And I did hear some ramblings this morning about them possibly firing her. And they should. I mean, how does Letitia Adams and Comey not even get charged with anything? Um, she is just she is just not a friend of the Second Amendment. And Ozzy Osbourne, welcome back, brother. Good to see you again. We need more judges like Clarence Thomas. We need the Second Amendment to be challenged and ruled on the federal level. There's always going to be arrests on drugs and human trafficking. But yeah, Clarence Thomas, he's just awesome. And I think the problem we have is a lot of the conservative judges are ancient and they should step down and be replaced by somebody that's like in their 40s so that our Second Amendment rights will be protected for 40 years. They don't make them like Clarence Thomas anymore. But, the bill H.R. 38, which is national reciprocity, shouldn't even have to be a bill. We already should have national reciprocity. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed is your carry permit. And I just don't, for the life of me, understand how these liberal states get to make up their own gun laws and only apply it to the Second Amendment. And to make it even worse, you have states like Pennsylvania that allow you to carry a firearm everywhere except Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. How do you do that? That is unconstitutional. You mean to tell me that in Pennsylvania you can carry everywhere else and defend yourself, but if you live in Philly or Pittsburgh, that you can't? I don't understand why we're not allowed to defend ourselves when we already know that law enforcement is not obligated to protect an individual, only the public at large, but yet they're making it increasingly difficult for us to own and carry firearms, depending on where you live. And first of all, they're missing the main point. When they create these gun laws, all they're doing is targeting the law-abiding citizen because that's what they want to do. They want an unarmed society like Hitler and Stalin had, right? So that we could be a bunch of sheep and they could tell us what to do and we can't fight back. But they lost the war on the criminals, right? The criminals are going to do whatever they want. The criminals are going to have high-capacity magazines. The criminals are going to have switches and illegal guns, etc. So what do? They take it out on a law-abiding citizen. Criminals don't follow the gun laws. So why do you have gun laws? You don't have gun laws for the bad guys. You have them for us. You have gun laws to restrict our rights because the bad guy's still going to do what they want. And I think that is what the liberals are missing. Now, they've already proved that assault weapon bans and um, government buybacks of firearms don't work. As a matter of fact, the the buyback program is one of the most ridiculous and irresponsible things you can do. There's no questions asked, right? So now you're a criminal and you have 4 or 5 guns that were used in a shooting. No question asked. So you turn them in, and now they give you cash so that you can go buy more illegal guns. Exactly, Ted. That's exactly the problem we have. Is that you have people like Gruesome Newsom that deem us the problem. And what we really need more of, we need more people like Sheriff Grady Judd. That man should run for president, and that guy set the bar for what a sheriff should be. Um, but we need to do something. I don't know what the answer is, but somehow we need to be able to establish the Second Amendment under federal law so that the states can't just keep making up more nonsense. The war on assault weapons is stupid too, because the data suggests that it did nothing to decrease crime. I mean, look at how difficult it is to get a firearm in Illinois, and look at all the shootings they have in Chicago. Yeah, I mean, California, unfortunately, California has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, but yet they're the #1 state for gun owners, and that's because of the population. And yes, that's the scary thing, is that he will be running in 2028. And, the thing about the liberals is that they're indoctrinated at a young age, right? It used to be when you went to college, the college professors would indoctrinate the college kids, right? Now they're starting it in grade school, middle school, high school, and college. So these people have been drinking the Kool-Aid since they were 10, 12 years old. And it doesn't matter. You could go outside and it could be perfectly sunny, blue skies, and they're telling you that it's cloudy and raining and dark, and you're going to believe them. And that's the scary thing, is that they believe it. Statistically, the liberals are supposedly more educated. So you wonder how these educated people fall for all this nonsense. I mean, they have to be smart enough to know that it's all bullshit. And yes, they should abolish the teachers' union. The problem you have is that in most places, when a teacher has tenure, you can't fire them. You know what, Ozzy? I'm really hoping that Illinois does flip red, because they got some of the dumbest gun laws, and more people get killed in Chicago every freaking day. So, what do the gun laws do? It proves what I said earlier. They make the gun laws so that they can control the law-abiding citizens, and does nothing to stop the bad guys. Well, you know what, Sarita? I worked with a great man, God rest his soul, years ago. And he explained to me there's a difference between being educated and being smart. And he's absolutely correct. Just because you're educated does not make you smart. And the way he explained it to me is that people that are educated go to school and they learn all this knowledge, right? But the smart people, they know how to process that knowledge and make it meaningful and worthwhile. And I guess that's the major difference is that there's a lot of educated people out there that think they're smart because they're educated, but they're really a bunch of imbeciles. Yeah, mass shootings every weekend in Chicago. Um, I remember over 4th of July, there was like 107 people shot. And by the way, most times they don't even arrest anybody. And the other thing that jackass governor in Illinois does is that in Illinois, they allow undocumented people to become police officers, even though it's against federal law. So it's just like this whole world is turned upside down, and I don't know if it'll ever get fixed. I'm sorry, Mr. Nice Guy. I'm reading your comment here. Yeah, I have friends of mine that are from Bosnia, and as kids, you know, they saw people getting killed in the streets every day, but they weren't allowed to defend themselves. Um, and this is what the liberals are trying to do. Um, they know that people like us are never going to comply. I will not comply, and I'm sure many of you won't. So, what do they do to stop you from complying or revolting? Let's take away their firearms. An unarmed society, we can make them do whatever they want. There used to be a rule on the books from a long, long time ago. I haven't checked it recently, but it used to be to own a firearm in South Carolina, you had to be a landowner. And that was a law because they didn't want the slaves to own guns. Um, you know, every time there's a shooting, especially in a school, um, our rights get sent back years, right? And one person dead is one too many. And my heart goes out to the families and the victims. But this is the thing about the liberals. They don't give a rat's ass that a kid got killed at school. They don't give a rat's ass that innocent people are getting killed because of gun violence. All they're doing is they're using that tragedy to promote their agenda. That's all they're doing. They don't care. They don't. President Trump, he'll call the family. The Biden administration, they never call the family. They don't care about the family. They don't care about the victims. All they care about is, oh, this is great. There was a mass shooting today at a school. Now it gives us another chance to, ban firearms. That's the problem that we have with the liberals, is they use tragedy to promote their agenda. You have these lunatics like Omar, Nancy Pelosi. Um, I just, for the life of me, don't see how they're still there. I'm still waiting to see Tampon Tim get put in jail. Um, he had to know. He's the governor. He's got the most power out of anybody in the state of Minnesota. So why isn't Tampon Tim being charged? All of this fraud, yes, and Chuck Schumer and that ugly ass bitch, Maxine Waters. Jesus. But, you know, when you have Tampon Tim ordering his National Guards to resist ICE agents, that's a problem. And then you have the Attorney General, I believe it was, in Pennsylvania, threatening to put ICE officers in a jail cell and request the highest bail possible. You're going against federal law enforcement agencies. So you have these liberal states. Yeah, Maxine is a female, but she's still ugly. I don't know, Clint. I don't know if Tampon Tim is done. You know, for as long as he's been there, he's had to be involved in this corruption, as well as Omar. She funneled a lot of money into her husband's business. But the problem with Tampon Tim is that I guess he dropped out of the race, figuring that if he drops out of the race, then they won't indict him on any charges. But I don't see how they don't get charged with tyranny, insurrection. But the worst part about it is that they go before these liberal judges, and these liberal judges won't even hear the cases. I mean, they won't hear the cases against Letitia Adams or Comey, but yet they'd hear these bullshit 38 charges against President Trump. It just boggles the mind. It really does. I know I don't normally like to get into politics, but I'm sorry, there's some things that just can't be ignored. But anyway, let's get back to firearms and firearms related products. You guys just type something in there and we'll get that discussion going. You want to talk about a firearm you like or don't like, or have questions related to firearms that you want to ask. That's why we do that. And hello to you, Jason from Michigan, and President. Glad to see you guys. If you guys are new to our stream, we do these live streams every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. And Mimi, hello to you too. Thanks for joining. And if you guys haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel and watch our video. We have over 800 videos, and we generate our revenue based on video watch hours. We're a small channel, and that's what I use to purchase firearms. So I can't afford to purchase them out of my own pocket. So I rely on the revenue from YouTube to do that, so I can purchase more firearms and accessories to review for you guys. That's a great question, Mike. RCBS, hands down. Hands down. I'm old school. I use a RCBS rock chucker. A good friend of mine from Texas, his dad passed 12 years ago. And during the pandemic, he called me and we were talking, and he said, my dad has got a RCBS rock chucker that's sitting in the garage rusting. Do you want it? Yeah, sure. He packed it up, sent it to me, and it had to cost him a fortune because that RCBS rock chucker is made out of cast iron. I use some WD-40 and steel wool. It looks like brand new now. I've reloaded thousands of rounds through it. RCBS, in my opinion, their products are superior. They're made in the USA and they have a lifetime warranty. Not a fan of Lee. However, I do like the Lee dyes. The Lee carbide dyes are fantastic. And when you use the carbide dyes, you don't need to lube the cases. But I've had bad experiences with the Lee equipment. And I did a review on the Lee perfect powder measure. And that should be called the imperfect powder measure because it was so inaccurate. And I did a test and I tested 10 rounds, one after another, and I weighed it on the scale, and it was so far off that it was dangerous. My RCBS Uniflow powder measure, I check every 10th round when I reload by hand, and every 10th round is exactly the same. And by the way, RCBS is now owned by Hogden. I got an email from Joel Hogden, the president of Hogden, and he asked me if I would review their new product. RCBS has a new powder funnel that he asked me to review. I was actually flattered that a company that big contacted me. I guess he saw my channel and he saw I did some reviews of RCBS products, so he did that, sent it to me. And they also sent me some powder because Hogden makes powder. My favorite powder is the Winchester 231. How could you say it? I'm lazy and I don't like to have 10 different kinds of powder. I don't reload for rifle. I only reload for 357 Magnum, 10 millimeter, and 45 ACP. 9 millimeter is so cheap, it's not worth reloading. So, with that being the case, reloading saves me a boatload of money. And the Winchester 231 powder works perfectly in every handgun caliber. I mean, I know people that reload and they have, like Winchester 231, they may have bullseye and etc. I don't like to memorize that. I just like using one powder for everything. I like that the 231 powder is smokeless, but I do understand people use different powders because some powders perform better than others on certain calibers. And when you go through the reloading data, I use the Hornady reloading guide. There's a lot more reloading data for like bullseye or accurate than there may be for the Winchester 231. But for the most part, I've been able to find reloading data on everything, and it's just me. I just like having one powder on my shelf. I do like Hornady products, Mike. And by the way, one of the great products that I use on my RCBS rock chucker is the Hornady lock and load collars. They are awesome. When you're reloading with the RCBS and you screw in your decapping die, and then you take it out and you put in the resizing die. It's a real pain in the ass dialing that in. And then if you want to go back to it tomorrow, you have to set it up all over again. What the Hornady lock and load collars do is you put them on your die, you set them once, and then you just twist them, and it comes right out of the RCBS press. And I bought like a dozen of them, and I have them set up for every one of my dies so that I only got to set it one time. Next time I go to reload 357 Magnum, I just grab it, drop it in, everything's calibrated. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not a fan of Hornady for reloading presses, but I do like their lock and load collars, and I love my Hornady caliper. Yeah, that would be a good choice, Mike. And hi, Mimi. All right, time check. It's about 1:45. We got about 15 minutes left. So I don't want to waste it all babbling about nothing. So if you guys have any topics you want to discuss or questions, please feel free to leave them and we'll do that. And again, a big thanks to everyone that has subscribed to my channel. We've grown so much in the past year. We just reached 7,500 subscribers. We had 7,000 in the beginning of January, and we're already up to 7,500. So we're really starting to grow now. And even though I missed my goal of 10,000 subscribers for the end of the year last year, we'll probably get to that number soon. But I still don't consider it a failure. And I'm not giving up, and I'm going to continue to run this channel. And again, the support that you guys have given me, whether they're donations or purchasing super chat stickers, and some of you guys have purchased the Pro Gun t-shirts like this and the Pro Gun coffee mugs to show your support. That's a very tough question, Jason. It would take forever to break down each state's gun laws. Virginia is posting some nasty anti-gun bills recently. Basically, make a long story short, most of the red states have very liberal gun laws. Like, I live in the great state of Tennessee. We have very liberal gun laws. And then the blue states, like the communist state of New Jersey, and Illinois and California and New York, have very strict gun laws. It's really tough to do a state by state breakdown, other than the fact that the liberal states have bad gun laws and the conservative states have very good gun laws. I'm really surprised that Virginia is actually going backwards as far as the Second Amendment goes. And this is what I say all the time. And this is why, if you're not an NRA member, or you don't belong to the Firearms Coalition or Gun Owners of America, you should seriously consider doing that, because they use that money to fight these stupid things that the government tries to do. And like I always say, you don't take your gun rights for granted. One mass shooting or one election can change everything, right? I mean, Virginia had pretty decent gun laws when Youngkin was governor. And now that they have a liberal governor, they're doing all kind of anti-gun bills right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. because Virginia used to be. I used to have a concealed carry permit for the state of Virginia. They used to issue non-resident carry permits, and I had a non-resident carry permit for Virginia, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do about that. And again, I try reading these comments, and if I missed them, I apologize for that. Like SKJ, I'm sorry I missed that. Yeah, I like the 5.56. I don't have a 7.62, so I have no experience for that. But I like the 5.56. It's one of my favorite calibers. Yeah, there's a lot of states that have open carry. Matter of fact, most of the conservative states are open carry. We live in the great state of Tennessee. We can open or conceal carry with or without a permit. So when I got here 7 years ago, I had to take an 8-hour concealed carry class, and I had to qualify with my firearm because in order to open carry, you needed the enhanced carry permit. And I was a little pissed off when they did away with all the requirements. And anybody can open or conceal carry. And I guess I would rather have less government control than more. But if a guy standing next to me is carrying a firearm, I like to know that the guy's competent. And I still think, now I don't think they should have to enforce them going to the gun range and qualifying, but I still think that at least the firearm safety course should be required in order to carry. But I guess if you do that, then you're back to you need to have a permit. So I guess the problem is if you don't need a permit to carry, any coconut off the street just goes to the gun store, buys a gun, puts it on their hip, and like magic, they think it's going to protect them. And I could tell I'm a range safety officer besides a NRA instructor. I'm also certified pistol instructor by the state of Tennessee. And I could tell every time I go to a gun range what jackass just bought a gun and never shot before, just by their actions at the range and the way they handle the firearm. Just because you don't need to take a training class to carry doesn't mean you shouldn't train. I push it all the time. I don't care how good you are. You should constantly be getting training. Training never stops. I mean, I'm an NRA instructor. I'm certified as an instructor by the state of Tennessee, and I still take gun classes from my instructor. And I just can't stress that enough. And Catwalk, God bless to you too. Thank you for joining. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. We do these live streams every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. Unfortunately, this stream will be ending in 5 minutes, so I'm sorry you joined that late, but hopefully you'll catch us in the future. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes left. So if you have something you want to say, Um, and you're welcome for that, Catwalk. I fight every day for our Second Amendment rights, and I can't tell you how important it is for gun safety. That is why I applaud the great state of Tennessee, effective January 1st, 2026. Every school in the state of Tennessee, from kindergarten through 12th grade, has to take a mandatory firearms safety class. And I just have to give kudos to the government in Tennessee for doing that. When you think about it, if you're a kid and you live in the state of Tennessee, there's a pretty damn good chance you're going to find a gun in your house. So I applaud them for that. But like I say about training, I don't care how good you shoot. Your training is a lifelong journey. If you're not at the range, you should be dry fire training. There's a lot of things you can't do at the range that your dry fire training at home will allow you to do. Some gun ranges don't allow you to draw from a holster. You can do that at home. Some gun ranges don't allow you to move around. At home, you could practice moving laterally, forward and backward, etc. Yeah, I believe that. Hey, look, it's not that long ago, that people used to be able to drive around with shotguns in the back of their truck. I haven't lived in Tennessee my whole life, but I know people that live here, and when they were kids, they used to be able to take their guns to school and shoot in the rifle club after school. So, hey, Luca, how you doing, brother? You joined at a bad time, though, Luca. We're ending this stream in about 2 minutes. And that's right, James. Well, I got to tell you, Luca, I'm going to post a video later or this weekend. I did get to shoot that Henry Big Boy today, and that's freaking awesome. At 25 yards, I got them all inside the black. However, I'm not a fan of the buckhorn sights, but I'll get used to it. Yes, everybody did have a pocket knife. It was the norm. It's just, kind of sad that you have to even go through a metal detector in school. But, these are, violent times we live in. This whole country is crazy. Both sides are off the rail. There is no more middle of the road. It's extreme one way or the other. And I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if it'll ever get fixed. All right, guys. Sorry for the people that just joined. But we will be ending this. I'm glad you like my tattoos. I got a lot of ink. So thanks for that. You too, take it easy, Luca. Besides the dry fire laser cartridge, I use Mantis Laser Academy. And you're welcome, Ted. Thank you, sir. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. Again, for those that are new, please think about subscribing to the channel. Watch all the videos, comment, and share the videos with your friends so that we can grow. Thank you, guys. Have a blessed weekend.